Hi, this is Gary Auden, and I'm bringing you an EDUcast, how to sell voice over IP, finding your niche in a $140 million industry. With me today is Eric Johnson, part of Bicom Systems. He's new business development. And as we always do, we talk about our agenda. We have 4 points we're going to make today. One is, Eric's going to talk about the VoIP market, which you may be surprised at its size and its expansion. Then we're going to go into 3 different areas, giving you 5 steps, first for building your service, then marketing your service, then selling your service. So think of this as a tutorial of how to be a VoIP provider. And if you aren't a provider yet, what you will learn. If you're a provider already, what you will learn to improve your business. So let's start off with the first slide, Eric. Would you give us some background about the present and future growth of the VoIP industry?
Thank you, Gary. The VoIP industry reminds me of the PC industry when we go back to 1980. We have this big PC, basic functionality on there. That was the beginning. And if we just went 20 years forward to the year 2000, we see how far the PC took us. Everything from the internet and all the social medias and buying online to mobile apps, everything is there. In the year 2000, when the first VoIP lines came out, it was basic phone lines. People got it because they wanted to reduce their phone bill from $55 to $35, either a residential line or a business line. Today, EDUcast is coming on. All the integrations to the CRMs, the browsers, the emails, all the fun features that come with the PBX is now hosted in the cloud. Many businesses now have access to all those features. We're literally looking at the tip of the iceberg. Everything is just getting started in this industry. The end users want the features. Now it's time to get out there and share it with them.
So let's move on. We're building a VoIP service. Let's move into the question of planning. What do you mean by planning?
So a couple things about planning. Of course, if you're not in the industry now, you want to start documenting all of your requirements, all the features that you would like, everything that would make sense to you. Once you get a partner that you're set on, then you set your short-term goals. So your short-term goals are just to get your internal phone system live. Use all the features possible and document all the benefits that come with that. From there, your next goal is not to go out and get 100 new customers. It's actually just go out and get 1 new customer, walk them through the entire process, feature, document all the benefits, all the way through. Now you have a blueprint that you can take for a long-term goal. As many accounts as you want, you have the blueprint to do that. So the short-term goals, be patient, be intentional, be very specific on what you're looking for, and go out there and get that 1 client that you can replicate from then on out.
Let's move on to the next question. So you're saying here, choose an infrastructure. What do you mean by that?
This is very important, and unfortunately, it's being overlooked by the end user. Basically, someone comes in, they say they have a phone system for them, a phone service, and the end user doesn't know to ask. This is where you need to highlight. Basically, you need a 2 quad-core server, and that's where a lot of people stop. Literally, their phone system is in some private cloud somewhere where it's just 1 server. That server has to be replicated. If one goes down, the other one's still up and live. Second part to that is you need that server backed up off-site, just in case the whole facility goes down. And then the last one is security. Security threats are on the rise. We have DDoS attacks and financial attacks happen all the time in the telecom industry. You have to put security in there. Now, a couple things about that. You may not have the ability to do that. If you don't, find a vendor that's willing to help you. Once you put all those in place, that's what you present to your future customer. Explain that to them, and you're going to see a lot of the competition will start going away.
Well, let's move on to the word niche. And I see you have 4 choices here: urban, rural, public, or private. How do you select your niche?
Yeah, this is interesting. It's fun. We have a lot of people in the industry who are rural, and they're offering, for example, residential phone line. It's an untapped market. You also have people that are doing, believe it or not, residential phone line in the urban areas, adding more features and offering up a local service. The biggest part about a niche is to become an expert in your product. So if you have a customer who is in the insurance industry, know as much about that insurance industry as they do. If you're going to get into the public sector, know more about that than they do. Become the expert. Now you can go out and get the rest of them. Do you do that directly or indirectly? Sometimes it's hard to be an expert. You can outsource that. There's plenty of distribution channels. People know what they're talking about. They just need the product to go out and sell. This is a key step to getting your VoIP platform off the ground.
We're talking about marketable features, and you have a number of them here. What do you think are the most important ones for showing what your client would be interested in?
What's fun about this, Gary, is that I think about the features I like. There's a browser integration. So anywhere I'm out on the internet, if there's a phone number, I can click and dial that person. In my email, if there's a signature line, I can click and dial them. I think that's a fun feature. People are looking for that. The other one is, for example, a voicemail that goes to text that's sent to me by email. So if I'm on the phone with somebody, a call comes in, it goes to my voicemail. I see it now. The voicemail is written out in the text. I can know exactly what's going on with that account. I could forward an email. I could respond back. I could get someone else to help them out. At least I know what's going on. Those are the fun features that people haven't seen. We also have mobility now is big in the VoIP industry. So a soft phone that's on either your iPad or your cell phone. Basically, it's an office. You can take it anywhere you want. Those are some of the fun features, integrations in the CRM. There's a lot out there that the end user is not familiar with yet.
One of the things is pricing. And I would gather from what you're saying is you really want to focus on features, because if it's pricing and that's the only thing you have, it's commodity, it's the lowest price. How do you set your prices?
This is critical, Gary. What happens is oftentimes a vendor will overprice their product. They're going on a lot of calls, they're not getting the deals. On the other side, you're underpricing it and you're literally giving your business away. The end user, in the end, they don't want that. They want a strong vendor. They want great customer service. They want a great product, something that keeps up with them. It's very critical that you analyze the VoIP market and see what price points are coming in the marketplace. So you can see here how we just scale it up. 1 to 5 is $30, all the way to 100 seats is $20. Take your time, lay out your price sheet, understand that there's value that comes with that. This is what the end user is looking for, what the market bears.
Now let's move into the second part here, marketing the VoIP service, which a lot of people I think have weaknesses with, and you have a lot of experience. So let's talk about benefits and features.
This is where a lot of people miss. They have a product, it has a lot of features, they get out there to show an end user, and they just do a tab walk. We have this feature, this feature, this feature. In the end, there's no connection to the end user. Basically, every feature you have to attach a benefit. A benefit is something that somebody else has experienced with that product, they've used the feature, and this was the end result. That end user now has a connection to that feature. They have a connection to your product. They have a connection to your company. The more benefits you give them, the more reason you give them to do business with you.
You know, you talk about benefits, but how do we educate people about the benefits?
The trick here is to have the experience. So have a customer, that's your referenceable account. You've introduced all the features of them. You've documented all of the benefits. Then share that experience, that's a case study and a reference, share that with the end user. Educate them on how that client was in the same position you were, and this is what they experienced when they used our product. It's a fun process. People like it. It's what they want to hear.
Is that what you mean by demonstrating the features?
I do. When we demonstrate the features, oftentimes, I'll say it again, we do a tab walk. We have this feature, that feature, this feature. The best way to demonstrate a product is to attach a benefit to a feature. So for example, if you have a find me, follow me to your cell phone, you're driving down the road, you don't want to answer that call because you're going to have to pull over and get a notepad out and write things down. If you had call recording on that cell phone through your mobile app, you don't have to. You just have a general conversation, you get their name, their address, all the information you want, it's all recorded. So that now gives them a chance to understand how they would use it on a daily basis. This is what people are looking for.
You know, we talk about the words transition in a lot of technologies, but an easy transition is hard to deliver. Would you discuss that?
The problem with transition is it's a goal. And if we look at our goals, we want to accomplish them, we have to write them down. Basically, what the end user is looking for is a step-by-step, all the goals, exactly how you're going to accomplish them, who's going to do the work, how much time it's going to take. Making an easy transition where there's something tangible in their hands that they can work from. It's not going to be easy if you don't write it down.
Now, after the transition, we're talking about customer service, and customer service, if it's done right, leads to loyalty. Let's talk about the importance of customer service.
Yeah, we talk about competition. It's so easy today, in my opinion, to be the competitor, and you can compete on customer support alone. You have a couple elements to it. One, you have an email system, a ticket system, where you can track the project. The other one is you have a chat box, quickly get answers back and forth. But there's times when people do want to pick the phone up and call in for phone support. Make sure you have all three of those available. The other part to it is you want to be proactive. Do not be a reactive customer support. Have in your customer service employees' calendars where they proactively call the customer, survey them, ask them how they're doing. You can also swing by your local, swing by once a month, say hi, see how things are going. That's customer service. Nobody else is doing that out there. It makes a difference.
Yes, it gets very much into your last bullet there of personalizing all of this. Offer an incentive to join. All right, but what do you mean by do not devalue your products?
That's really the last thing you want to do. What happens when we find ourselves devaluating our product is we really didn't do the initial work up front. We didn't take time to understand their business, what their needs are, what their goals are, and how we can apply that to our products. When we find ourselves giving the product away, we've missed there. So go back over all of the free add-ins that you have. You can include equipment in that. If you get a buy-in from them, you don't need to charge for a transition. And then basically make it focused on their needs. This is what they want.
We now move on to the final thing, selling this service. We talked about marketing. We talked about putting things together. What do you mean by a lack of education here? What's the challenge and solution?
There's so much out there. We're fooling ourselves if we think that end user has taken the time out to do all the market research. They know all the features. They know exactly what they want. Many businesses out there do the market research. Basically, they're just looking for a local provider. Once they find them, It's up to you to be the expert. Don't sell them. Come out there and consult them. Educate them on the industry. Let them know what's trending, what's working for others. Open the door to what the future looks like. This is what they want. Go from a salesperson to a consultant. You'll be successful.
One of the words that comes to mind when you're talking about fear here is the word intimidation. Is the first step intimidating to a lot of these people?
Yeah, of course it is. What happens is we're walking a trail that we feel nobody else has walked before. This is where documenting the transition, sharing with them the case study, what the other clients have done, it makes it easier for them to understand that they're not the first ones that ever do this. That's when the scariness goes away. That's when the fun begins. Don't make it scary for them. Give them a clear transition plan. Give them testimonials and case studies, and move forward with that future client of yours.
The word commodity comes in mind when we look at old telephone service. It's just a matter of the price, not so much the features. Why should you avoid the idea of selling this as a commodity?
So many people get caught up in this. Basically, when we're selling VoIP, like single phone lines, we try to get into a price-driven competition. We have big national companies selling in your market. They want to make it a commodity. It's not. Your support alone is not a commodity. Your product is not. Don't get in a shin-kicking competition with these big national players. You're local. You have the best product. You have the best support. You're there, meeting with them in person. Do not make it a commodity, because your business is not a commodity, and that's what the end user is looking for.
Moving onward, we're talking to companies that want to become VoIP providers or are even already VoIP providers. How do they find their place in the competitive environment?
This is an interesting question. Basically, what you're looking for is how you can lay a redundant product over the top of a certain niche industry. Become an expert, let's say in the auto industry. If you have auto companies that sell auto insurance, know everything about it. Get a product that can help them. Becoming an industry expert separates you from the competition.
I would also think that if you do what you're suggesting, it's a much easier conversation to have with those kind of clients if you know their business. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, it is, and that's what they're looking for. They don't want to have to educate you on their business. They will if they have to, but they prefer to have someone that's already worked in that industry.
What do you mean by adding value here? We've already talked about delivering the service, but there's got to be something more than that.
There's lots you can bring to the table. There's lots of extras and add-ons. There's equipment, be it Bluetooth headphones, handsets, extra features, all the integrations and add-ons. Bring the added value. That's what they're looking for. It makes their lives easier. When we skinny it down, it's not really what they're looking for.
I'd like to point out some information here, how you can get brochures, information, papers, EDUcast we had in the past at Bicom Systems. Second point is real important. They did write the book, How to Sell VoIP, and that's the URL to get there. They have case studies and they have contact information here. I'd like to thank you, Eric, for this. I think it's very enlightening.
Thank you, Gary.